Showdown with Brown time. Mark Malusis with the owner of Empire Automotive Group. Michael Brown, what's going on? Michael, how are you?
One more left, Moose.
One more to go, I know, amazingly enough. We're down to one football game left, Championship Sunday in the rearview mirror. What we do each and every week, you go to shopempireauto.com/pickwindrive. Michael's going to make a selection against the spread. You enter. Entry costs you absolutely nothing. We draw your name if Michael's correct, and you know what? You have a shot at a 3-year lease on a car at the end of the football season. Doesn't get any better than that. So, Championship Sunday, we'll get into a little bit of Jets as well. It wasn't all that great. I mean, the NFC Championship game, once the injuries to the quarterback, not particularly good. I mean, the Eagles, won that game by daylight. 49ers, it's hard to win a football game if you don't have a QB.
Yeah, no, you saw, it's kind of funny. I saw McCaffrey putting in the earpiece. And
I know.
I thought he was going to be coming in, but Purdy came back out. He couldn't throw the ball. We saw, you can't play without the QB. It's just not going to happen. And, even when the QB was in, I got to say, Eagles really did show their dominance and what they're capable of on defense with that team.
Yeah, they're better at the offensive and defensive line. If Purdy was healthy, I think it would have been a significantly better game than what it turned out to be.
Yeah, they would have pushed the Eagles. The Eagles really didn't, I wasn't overly impressed with what the Eagles were doing. They just didn't have to do too much.
No.
And that was part of the problem with what was making the game not so exciting. The Eagles weren't playing their best either.
And then you look at the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs victorious over the Cincinnati Bengals. Unfortunately, listen, all credit to Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes for getting to the Super Bowl, but unfortunately a lot of the storyline coming out of the game is going to be how terrible the officiating was final 10.5 minutes of the game.
It was awful. It was absolutely awful. The two plays where I have an issue with, we're talking about calling that intentional grounding on Burrow.
Yes.
But then Mahomes did it 2 minutes later, and they didn't call it.
No.
And then, same thing in reverse. Burrow gets crushed. They don't call roughing the passer. And then, I felt it was roughing the passer on Mahomes, but if you're going to call that play at that time in the game, after you didn't call it, make a decision. Either you're letting them play or you're not.
Right.
Make a decision and a line in the sand. What you did was make everyone feel like the NFL wanted the Chiefs to win the game.
No doubt about it. And once you pull that flag and call it on Patrick Mahomes, you're deciding the game.
The game's over.
Butker's making the 45-yard field goal.
The game's over. He's not missing it. And again, that's kind of what the taste people are left with. That's why they're upset. That's why social media blew up. Everyone said the fix is in.
Yes.
It's a fraud. And that's a bummer. You don't want to be walking away from Championship Sunday like that. And if we're going to talk about the game for a minute and forgetting the officiating, the one play where I don't get what Joe Burrow was thinking, why the long ball?
No, I know.
They were moving the ball. They were winning. Okay? They had the mojo. They had the momentum. They were winning the football game. As you said before, if they went to OT, that game was...
Bengals are winning the game.
Bengals are winning the game. So what are you doing? Slow down. You had time. You had time to run off the clock. Why are you launching a ball all the way down the field in double coverage?
No, it's gonna be a long off season in Cincinnati.
It is, and I'll tell you, their coach is a class act.
Yeah.
He didn't bring up the officiating. He didn't say anything in the post game talking about excuses or anything. He just, said we didn't win.
Super Bowl 57, the matchup is set Chiefs and Eagles. We'll get to that momentarily in Michael's selection. Let's talk a little Jets football. Nathaniel Hackett, the new offensive coordinator for the Jets. You also have Keith Carter, the new offensive line coach, huge hire there. What about what the Jets did to the coaching staff for head coach Robert Saleh?
Yeah, I think both are really good hires, especially considering how many openings there are.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about the offensive line openings. Think about the offensive coordinator openings. And we're landing two guys with a lot of experience, which is what this team needed. You went young. It didn't work. Okay? This guy in Hackett, what you have is a guy who's 3 times, 3 different teams, top 10 offenses. Most notably, number 2 in the NFL with Blake Bortles at QB for Jacksonville.
Unbelievable.
That's impressive.
It is.
So, listen, and he's also a fiery guy, has a big personality, boisterous on the sideline with the players. I think it could work really well with this team. I think it's a stretch saying, oh, okay, this is going to be the guy that's going to make Zach Wilson have wake up and have a resurgence. I'm not so sure about that. But I do think that this guy's for real. And I think the O-line coach is going to help. They give him the run coordinator job. We certainly need help there. This guy has a ton of experience, and what he did at Tennessee speaks for itself. I know people will say, well, you have the world's best running back. But look at the O-line rankings. Look at their ratings on their ability to block, and they did a great job.
All right, Michael, let's talk a little big game and talk a little Chiefs and talk a little Eagles. What are you going to be looking for in a couple weeks out in Glendale, Arizona?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is now these teams get 2 weeks, right?
Right.
So both quarterbacks can get healthier. Because you saw it in Mahomes, and I think I saw it in Hurts too. You know, he didn't run as much as he probably could have or should have.
Yeah.
So both of those guys can get healthier. I guess Kelsey can get healthier. He really didn't look hurt to me, even though it was a game-time decision. He looked just fine. But I think that you're going to see these two QBs get healthier, and that's going to promote a better game. You know, the rub for me is going to be in the trenches. That's where we're looking, because I think you know, there's going to be times where this Eagles defensive front, you know, is going to have their way at times with that offensive line of any front they face, and that's what's going to be. What is Andy Reid going to do, and how is he going to dispel that to get the Chiefs offense to be able to move the football consistently against that defensive front? For me, that's really telling. And I also think on the reverse, how do you stop the run if you're the Chiefs? Because the Eagles are going to be able to get the ball down the field, but they're going to break it up with running the ball. And I think they're going to unleash Hurts. He's going to run the ball. But we did see the other two backs had some success.
Gainwell and Miles
yeah.
Sanders.
I mean, you know, Sanders scored twice. Gainwell played great. So you throw that wrench in there, and that's going to be interesting.
So who do you like in the game, Chiefs or Eagles? Eagles 2-point favorite.
You know, I think it's really tough, and we're sitting here now looking at it. This is a game that could be a very close game. For me, I'm just going to go with what I think is the better team on paper, and that's the Eagles. I just think you got to go with the defensive front. We talked about it earlier. Number 1 ranked offense, number 1 ranked defense. Who has won that game the last 4 times, and it's been the defense.
It's been the defense.
So I really won't waver. I'm going to go Eagles. I think Mahomes is incredible. It's hard to bet against him, but here with that defensive front and what they're going to be able to do running the football, got to go with the Eagles.
Eagles laying 2. That's Michael's selection in the big game. Now it's up to you. Go to shopempireauto.com/pickwindrive. Registration's free. They have 2 weeks to prepare. You have 2 weeks to enter. An opportunity to go out there and win yourself a car. If his selection against the spread is correct, we draw your name. You're in the running for that 3-year lease on an automobile right at the end of the football season. Michael, good luck to you.
Thanks, Moose.
You got it. Good luck to you.